Good morning, boys and girls. I'm Sharon Williams, back to read with you, I think the third time. I have the first book called Jack and the Baked Beanstalk. It's similar to Jack and the Beanstalk. And you know what happened in that one? Well, this is even different. Jack lives with his mother, and they have a little restaurant. Jack's Best Fast Foods. And they were always busy, Jack and his mother. And here is their little kind of a bus. People sitting out here and Jack taking the food. But something happened one day. The city council said, we need to make an overpass so that people can get into town more quickly. So things didn't seem so bad at the very beginning because Jack and his mom were busy taking care of the workers. And they fed them sausage and eggs and hamburgers and fries and cups and cups and cups of coffee. But when the overpass was complete, the workers went away. And there they were, under all of those layers of highway, right down here. There wasn't any way anybody could get to them. And after a while, they were down to their last pennies. So Mom said to Jack, go to the store and buy some milk and coffee beans, Jack. Because people always like a good cup of coffee. Does that sound familiar yet? So Jack and Bella, the dog, very sadly went toward the little store. But on the way to the store, Jack met an old man. And the old man asked him why he was so upset and so sad. Jack told him what he had to do and that his mom and he had a burger truck, but he had to go buy some coffee beans. The old man said, I think I can help you. Forget the coffee beans. These are magic baked beans. I wouldn't normally sell them, but you look like a boy who who knows how to get their money's worth. Now, Jack had read enough fairy tales to know that you're not supposed to turn down a free offer. Besides, baked beans were his very most favorite dish in the whole world. Not just their little world, but in the whole world, the best meal in the whole world. So, he wouldn't mind tasting some magic ones. Thanking the man, Jack exchanged his pennies for the beans and ran home. Now, what do you think Mom's going to feel about that? It doesn't say, but I think we could probably imagine. There. You did what? His mom said when Jack showed her the can. But Mom, they're magic baked beans. The old man promised, argued Jack, realizing how silly he sounded. Furious, his mom threw the can out of the window and sent Jack straight to bed. Here he is, and poor Bella. Early the next morning, Jack woke up to find his room bathed in a glorious, curious green light. Strange branches twisted in through the window, and at the end of each shoot dangled a silver can of baked beans. "It's a magic baked beanstalk," Jack whispered to Bella, trying to not wake up his mother. "If I remember right, there should be heaps of treasure up at the top." After quickly eating breakfast of the best beans he'd ever had, Jack went outside. "Are you ready, Bella?" asked Jack, grabbing hold of the long little green branches. "Mom will be worried when she sees we're gone, but if he really is a magic beanstalk, she'll forget about being angry when we bring her back some treasures." Up between the leaves they climbed high into the sky. Finally, Jack and Bella reached the top, just above the clouds. The last branch wound its way to the steps of the biggest castle Jack had ever seen. Squeezing under the door, Jack found himself in an enormous room. Suddenly there was a bone-shaking dunk, and then another, followed by a sound of someone singing. "Fee-fi-fo-fum, I'm always counting some money, be it stacks or be it gold. It's just my happy way, and so I'm told." Sure enough, Jack could see towers of gold and stacks of silver up front of the huge table, and behind it on an even more gigantic man. "Okay," whispered Jack. I'd forgotten about this part of the story. But just as Jack and Bella turned to sneak away, the giant spotted them. A huge hand reached down and scooped Jack and Bella up and put them on the table, right next to an enormous chicken, the most big chicken that Jack had ever seen. "We have visitors," boomed the giant. "So I see," squawked the chicken. "And we know just what to do with such visitors, don't we?" said the giant. "Now, you stay there. I'll be back in a jiffy." And with that, the giant grabbed a handful of the chicken's eggs and marched off to his kitchen. Soon, the sound of clattering pans and pots were going through the castle and it made the table tremble. "Is he going to eat us, chicken?" "Oh, don't be silly," said the chicken. "He just wants to make you some lunch. He hasn't cooked for someone in a long, long time." So Jack waited, and the giant switched on the enormous radio. Then his foot tapping along with the sound of the music, he began to make the biggest omelet Jack had ever seen. While wonderful smells wafted into the room, the chicken told Jack about his life in the castle. Every day, all day, the giant counts his money. She clucked. He doesn't know why he has to count his money. He doesn't know what to do with himself. It's hard for the radio. She's a magic one, and you know she'd like to play all day long, but it only can play at lunchtime because the giant needs silence when he's counting his money. Just then the giant appeared. "Lunch is ready," told the giant all about life at the bottom of the beanstalk. And the giant told Jack about his money. Jack thought having such treasure was fantastic, but the counting sounded a bit boring. I do get pretty lonely up here, confessed the giant. Would you consider staying? You could help me count, and I could cook us tasty meals. Sorry, said Jack, I just couldn't leave my mom. I should be getting back. Can I come with you? Sang a small voice. Jack and the giant turned to the radio in surprise. I want to play songs all day long, and I've always wanted to stretch my wings, clucked the chicken. The giant looked glum, but agreed that his friends deserved a change after all their years in the castle. With a heavy heart, the giant walked them all to the top of the beanstalk. Are you sure you won't come with us? Asked Jack. You could chase us. I'd love to, said the giant sadly, but truth be told, I've always been a bit afraid of heights, and it looks like a long way down. I'd better stay here and count my gold. So Jack and Bella climbed onto the chicken's back and, clutching the radio, began the long journey back to the ground. Goodbye! Goodbye! Hollered the giant, waving his handkerchief. Do come again soon. But as he leaned out over the beanstalk, trying to catch the last glimpse of his friends, there was suddenly a loud crack. Snap went the beanstalk, and down, 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 down fell the giant. Crash! Bang! Wallop! Right on top of the new overpass. Cars skidded in all directions, but fortunately no one was hurt. Are you all right? Asked Jack, who had luckily reached the ground just in time. No, said the giant as a gigantic tear splashed onto the concrete below. Then another and another. Now that the beanstalk is broken, I can't go home. And without my money to count, I've got nothing to do. Whatever will become of me? It isn't so bad, said Jack thoughtfully. At least you're with your friends. Maybe if you try doing something you enjoy, you'll find it more fun than counting money. And that's the story of how the Baked Beanstalk Cafe became the famous place it is today. It's much bigger than the old place in almost every way. If you're ever passing through, do stop in, say hello to the giant chicken, or listen to the jumbo radio that plays music all day. The baked beans and eggs are always free, and to top it all, they have a very famous cook. Who's the cook? There he is. There's the left of the beanstalk. And they've got a bigger cafe now. And he is fixing eggs and baked beans for everybody. And he looks happy. Thank you.